What's up everyone, Solar J here. Today I want to cover the chromatic mode on the analog rhythm and the way I use it in my workflow. If you want to know how to make your beat sing by adding pitch variation to it, how to make a fat bassline on the fly, keep watching and let's go! First, let's have a quick look at how the chromatic mode works. You activate the chromatic mode by pressing the Cro button, and this mode works differently depending on what sound source you're using. For drum synths and VCO, by pressing different pads in chromatic mode, you really change the synthesized pitch of that sound, and the duration of the sound is the same, like this. If we take this kick, for instance, you can see that really the sound synthesis pitch, it's modulated depending on what pad you press. For samples, on the other hand, since the rhythm is not equipped with pitch shifting algorithms, like for instance the warp in Ableton, when you play a sample chromatically, it will simply play it at a lower or higher speed, depending on what pad you press, resulting in a sound that has a different pitch, of course, but also a different duration compared to the original sample. Let's take, for instance, these vocal samples that I have here.
Let's go.
You see that it's very fast if I press high notes, and very slow and long actually. Wow, if I press lower notes. The chromatic mode has 4 octaves. Since the musical notes are 12, one octave is covered by 12 pads, and it starts with the sky blue one, the yellow one is the highest, and then we have 2 more down below, the pink and the blue. The last thing to know is that via the sound settings, you can decide whether you want the chromatic mode to affect the synth only, the sample only, or both, or none of them actually. For the rest of this video, we will leave it as it is on the both sample and synth mode, but feel free to experiment with it. Now let's see how to use the chromatic mode in a creative way. Once I saw an interview from Square Pusher and I was struck when he said that there is no reason why the drums should not be the instrument playing the theme or the melody of a song. And with chromatic mode, it's quite easy to make our beats sing. Let's have a look at how. Here we have a very simple pattern with a kick, a snare and a ride. Like this is quite dull, but with the chromatic mode we can do the following. We can press a trigger, for instance the kick of the offbeat, and we can change its pitch, like this. So let's do that with the offbeat ones. And check what happened. Pretty nice already, and now let's use the snare to make some sort of melody. We're gonna use the live recording mode for that, and since I don't trust my finger drumming skills, I'm gonna put the global quantize to the maximum. Cool thing is that if you don't like some of the hits, like this one, you can change it until you find something that you like. Nice, eh? We made our snare sing. Last thing we can do with this dull pattern is, make the ride go down in pitch. The synth engine I use the chromatic mode the most actually is the dual VCO, and here I have some kind of sound, the dual VCO, and as you probably know, the pitch of this dual VCO is not super stable as you go down or high in octaves. Sometimes, especially if the machine has been turned on for just a few minutes and it's not warmed up. But hey, We bought a drum machine and we got a pretty good analog mono synth for free, so I don't feel like complaining. Let's now use the chromatic mode to add a bass line to this beat. We're gonna use the live recording again. Pretty nice, and you can also change the bassline on the fly while performing on the drum machine. For instance, sometimes I want to have like a very dense 16th bassline at a certain point during the performance, and yeah, with the chromatic mode you just do like this. And you can change multiple triggers at a time. And this brings me to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing how the chromatic mode works, but most importantly, how to use it in real life scenarios. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe as always, and see you next time.